Hello guys, Plastic here. Oh god, there's a car nearby. Like always, staple of my videos, I wake up in the morning to try and get the least noise possible, and there's still a ton of noise. Everyone, Happy New Year. Hope you had a very good New Year's Eve and New Year's. It is now the year of 2026, and here in the fear community, I look forward to a lot of things that have already been announced and, things to come. However, I want to make this video because this is not clickbait. I think this is actually very important. Very, very important. As you can see, something on my screen right now. There's a situation that happened not too long ago. But it is not me attempting to try to start the year of 2026 in the figure community with something negative. If anything, this is aimed to be more positive, and I hope it comes across that way, because it's something I am a little concerned about in terms of the community. I'm not gonna say things have been going downhill, but I think we as a community have kind of messed up, sometimes kind of significantly. If you can see on my screen, this is the RR Studios cell that was going to be released. It would have been released by now, and it probably would have been released early this year, or at least late last year, since it was announced like in the middle of the year, I believe, somewhere there, or a little earlier. It was cancelled. It's never gonna come out. It's been cancelled. And the reason for the cancellation is honestly kind of sad. I'm gonna go ahead and read to you guys this caption right here. It was originally in Cantonese, I believe it's the correct term for the language. But here we go. Final update. I apologize for the poor performance. I couldn't meet everyone's expectations. This is the final update. The project is cancelled. Thank you all for your support over the past year. It was more difficult and demanding than I imagined. The design team and the manufacturer have also exhausted their efforts. Thank you all for your patience and understanding over the past few months. You can turn to other manufacturers' products. KX Studios is better than mine. And Burst actually commented on this. But this is indicative of a bigger problem we have in the community of being way too judgmental of studios that are just starting out. I myself, I will admit, I have been a little judgmental in the past of saying pretty negative things about some figures that look, we can say when things look objectively bad. However, as I learned, we kind of have to be a little more lenient, because if we're not, we're probably never going to get the figures we want. I'm gonna read Burst's comment here. My 2 cents. I was really keen to see how the product would come out in final. I'm big on seeing the work throughout the development, as it helps to keep us engaged as a consumer. But if I had to give any advice, it's don't let the internet get to you. Can't cater to everyone. I think there are many who genuinely were excited for this thing. Sad to not see it come out now. You guys are definitely trying to make something cool. Wish you well in your next endeavors. Now, I myself, I wasn't planning on getting this, like, right off the bat, because I myself, I saw a couple things wrong with the render, like, quite a few things, but I wasn't, like, trying to say it, like, straight up looked hideous or something. I think it needed a lot of work. However, if we go back to the comments for these, some people are giving genuine, like, criticism, but the problem is some of the people, I think this is one of the posts, I'm trying to look through the comments. Okay, yes, this was the post where they were talking about making it more accurate and fixing things about it, so people were a little more what's the word? Positive about it. Sorry. This is a bit of a rant video, I will admit. but I'm trying to keep my thoughts together and concise. However, I remember because I was one of the people that said it didn't look great, but I said that I hoped that it would look better along as it came out. But I saw a lot of people dogging on this thing, like really bad, like really bad. People were saying like it looked ugly. They were saying, I'm definitely gonna put some of the comments that I saw on the thumbnail of like this so ass. Like people were being pretty mean about it, honestly. And it's not to be one of those people that are like, oh, criticism isn't valid, but there's a fine line between criticism and just like straight up very like disrespectful comments. And frankly, disrespectful comments are very unnecessary, because then we'll never get a figure like this, which we've been waiting for such a long time. Luckily, KW Studios is releasing theirs. I do find that the renders look better. However, they still don't have like a full-on prototype in hand, so we don't know what that would be like. However, the reason I'm making this video is because we're having excuse me. We're having not quite the same situation, but a very similar one. If we go here, this is an account by the name of Zealous Zenkai. I have spoken before, and they had released this right here, as you can see, but I already pulled it up. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's in the wrong order. This right here, this is a 3D model of a janemba, or quote-unquote cosmic jester, I believe. Interdimensional jester, sorry. And people were being pretty mean about it also. I'm not trying to quote-unquote glaze this thing. I think it could use like a bit of work. Like, I think the arms look kind of funky. And like everything below the waist is a little disproportionate. I think probably the legs are a little small, need to be a little longer. The torso could be like in the hip area a bit bigger, I think. Like, I think the proportions are the biggest thing, like right here, from like under the shoulder to under the torso to under the other shoulder. The faces look pretty decent, honestly. The faces are decent. I just they need a little bit of work. But again, if I go down to the comments, they can keep them to themselves. I can read Spanish. Es una broma is essentially like asking, is this a joke? Like, it doesn't even look like the first render. It looks like dragon stars. Not quite it, but good luck. Some people are definitely putting their 2 cents. All this gatekeeping for this, bro. Like, I think as a community, we tend to have this problem of being like way too anal about things, and it causes us figures that we might never see. Like, for example, like the RR Studios Cell, for example. I find that all this negativity tends to worsen the community overall for both the consumers and the companies, because, as an example, WoW Studios, right? Nothing against them, obviously. They just like straight up released a prototype of their Saiyan Saga Goku Kaioken in base form. It was amazing. I sadly didn't get it, but I've heard it was amazing. I've heard amazing things, and they just went for it. But that's because they already had everything ready, and they just like straight up just released pictures of pretty much like a final prototype, and everyone loved it. But the problem is that not everyone can be WoW Studios or like even or DF or Tansen, where we already have an established reputation, or the first photos released give us like a really good impression. Like some of them like put up a render that is an active work in progress, and I think as a community, we have to be like lenient, because they're trying to give us something we want, something we've been waiting for. And if we're too negative, then we might not get it. Our studio Cell. That's not to say that being negative is inherently like a bad thing. Like, you can say objectively it looks weird. You can say there's something wrong with it. But I find when you start going to like, oh, all this for this, or like don't release this, or when you start saying things like that, it costs other people a figure that they could possibly want. Like, again, criticism is incredibly valid. Like, as a consumer, we're paying for a product and we want the best out of it. However, if we're given the opportunity to actually criticize something, I think we should actually take advantage of it, but in a very positive way, because we have a company that's giving us the opportunity to actually tell them, to explain how we think they can improve, or how we think they can give us something worthy of our purchase. Now, I will, in fact, put up screenshots that I have of a conversation with Zeze or Zilla Senkai. They will pop up on the screen. Before that, though, I will also put these images on the screen. I posted a story I shared the post, and I put, guys, can we start giving more genuinely constructive criticism? This is why the RR Studio sale was cancelled. We might be destroying more studios before they start. That is the biggest thing here. We are like destroying figures companies before they start, so we might not actually even know how good it is when it releases, because it might never release. Along with that, a second screenshot of a story that Burst actually hopped on, saying, I second this, by the way. It's okay to dislike stuff, but if you want to see genuine improvements to stuff, you've got to see some level of progressionalism. If there's one thing this side of the community has to work on, it's not bringing others down. And that is the biggest thing here. I think a lot of people tend to bring a lot of companies, a lot of like customizers down, because it doesn't meet our expectations from as an example, Tonson, DF, WoW Studios, what else? Kong Studios is an iffy one. But like, we tend to set our expectations really high, and when one person or like a company doesn't meet them, we tend to be overly negative. And I think being so overtly negative is the problem here. Enough of the screenshots of the conversation. So, here we go. Zeze, or Zella Senkai, sends me a DM saying, hey friend, do you have a moment? I say, sure thing man, what's up? He says, initial reaction is what I expected from most people. Although your comment says it could use more work, most don't specify what exactly is wrong, just usually negativity. I can always relay feedback to the studio, yet not much is said on what collectors would rather see. And that's another problem. When they ask for feedback, we tend to not give it. Right? And again, I don't mean to make this video in like mean faith or like in like a negative way. I'm trying to essentially put out more positivity out there of like what I think we should do to better the community. I said, I agree, it is a lot of negativity. From what I see, the face could use a bit of tweaking on the sizing of the details of the mouth. I think, like I said, the mouth is a bit weird. But aside from that, I think proportions below the chest are what need the most work. That's my take. I don't think the arms are too bad. However, I do think they need a little bit of work. And then further on, it says, thank you, I'll relay your opinions to the studio. I say, yes, of course. If I think anything else should be mentioned in my opinion, I'll be sure to add to the discussion. And there's another thing I want to bring up. Relaying feedback to the studios. Some studios are very open on like receiving feedback. Now, something Burst said in his comment on the RR Studio sale, I do think it's both good and bad to try and like receive all of this feedback from the internet, because the internet is the internet. Obviously, there will always be a few bad eggs, for sure. Like, there's no doubt there will always be a few bad eggs. But when someone is trying to, be understanding and trying to give us a better product, we should take advantage of that in a positive way, because they're trying to better things for us as a consumer. But he mentions on, friend, earlier you mentioned the faces need work. Is this one also bad? I said, it's not bad. I think the lines are just too sharp. Let me refresh myself with the character for 1 second. Excuse me. Okay, I see now. I think it's that the lines are too sharp on the cheekbones and the faces could be a bit flatter. I should mention though, it might be the shading of the 3D model since the shadow is very stark. I see many said the head was different, but it follows the same mold, he said. I go to mention on. Yes, I see now. The shadows make the lines look sharper. Thank you for the split image. It's actually a pretty decent face. I think the biggest thing is having longer horns and smaller eyes. The eyes are a tad bit too large. He says, the studio will give him bigger horns, smaller eyes, adjust body shape and hips. Thank you again, friend. I said, always happy to help. And I asked him permission to use these screenshots in the video. I don't want this video to be too long. It is a bit of a rant, but I think it's actually something very important. So if you guys can do me a favor, like, subscribe, and actually share this video if you guys want. But I would actually really appreciate it, and I think it would actually be pretty meaningful, especially, you know, with how negative the community can be sometimes. That's all I wanted to say. But to summarize my thoughts, I think we really need to stop being so negative. Because, luckily, like I showed this earlier, but let me read this. Hello everyone. First of all, I want to thank you all for your support and criticism of my current project. I have noticed most of the feedback regarding the project results. While some people liked it, more people felt disappointed. My close friend conveyed many of your suggestions and criticism to me, and at my request, even the sharpest remarks. I promise to continue honing my skills, to strive to create works that satisfy everyone. Only when the final results reach the expected standard and show significant improvement will I present them again. Until then, the renderings will remain in the current position as a warning mark for me to improve my work. Thank you all for your support, and special thanks to my close friend Zeze for helping me connect with all of you. Is it Zeze or Zizi? I'm not sure. But, again, they're very much willing to listen to all the feedback. Like they mentioned, even like the sharpest feedback, they have been, you know, they asked for the sharpest feedback to also be shared, which is very admirable. But again, to summarize my thoughts, we have to stop being so negative. Like, negativity has its place just to a certain point. Because in order to criticize, sometimes you need a level of negativity. Oh, the proportions aren't good here. Oh, the arms look a little weird. Oh, the faces need a little bit of work because the details are too big. Oh, the horns need to be bigger. Like, to a certain extent, there is a little bit of negativity there. But I think so many people tend to be so anal about everything. And they just tend to, what's the word? Sometimes they tend to ruin it for other people. There have been so many collectors that have been looking forward to like a brand new janemba. And this is that brand new janemba. We've seen a couple other renders here and there, I think, but nothing that has been like straight up said that it's being worked on. So I actually look forward to this figure. I don't think it looks that bad. I honestly don't think it looks that bad. It just needs work. But I think we need to be more understanding in this community, because the negativity that comes out from us, and sometimes even like putting others down. Yeah, we tend to put others down sometimes a lot, which is bad, because that cost us a sell, and that could have cost us this janemba. But luckily, they're gonna work on it. Luckily, but at the end of the day, I just want 2026 to be a better year. I don't want there to be more situations like this, because it's demoralizing, not only for the consumers that are waiting for new figures, but also for the communities the companies that are trying to make something. And that is very meaningful, because sometimes they just try to appease consumers, although, you know, sometimes you get situations like this out. So that is everything I want to talk about today. I will be uploading the Super Saiyan 4 review next from Minako Fe. Like, subscribe, and actually, please, if you'd like, do share this video. I do think it's pretty important. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Go ahead and discuss. Whatever you guys would like to do to engage with the video, I would very much appreciate it. And again, Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a nice time, and I will see you guys later.